What's up, guys? How we doing? How we doing? Shabam! I got it. Fantastic Four. I got the Fantastic Four Steelbook here. I did not get my hands on the Amazon edition. They came out with a Steelbook that has... Here's what the inside looks like. All retro. Looks nice. I got the DVD and the player right now. And I've already given away the digital code on this one. Yeah, there's another Steelbook that came with cards, a comic book, a book, a shit ton of stuff, but it sold out within a day. Was unable to get my hands on it. Oh well, at least we were able to get this one. Beautiful one to add to my collection. Now, this is probably going to be my last review for a while. It's been a lot of fun reviewing shows and movies with you guys. That was what my first video was. But, usually I do more personal videos, and so I've been really review heavy lately. And after this, I'm going to pick one movie a week. You guys can pick it if you want, and I'm going to pick one movie a week to review. That being said, together, whenever that comes out, I do want to get that. There's not a Steelbook for it, but that's the next movie I am anticipating. But let's get into it. Fantastic Four, baby. Just to dive right in, I absolutely love this movie. I really did. I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did, but I absolutely loved it. My daughter even watched it with me, so Superman and Fantastic Four got her attention. Must be the visuals. But I absolutely love this movie. And I, just for shits and giggles, went and watched the 2005 and the Rise of the Silver Surfer movie just to kind of have something to compare it to. Look, I know those movies are beloved and have personality, and people are making a lot of videos right now of, let's give thanks to these movies and whatnot. But at the end of the day, after watching them back to back, they're pretty terrible. And it's like Marvel watched those and said, okay, let's do the complete opposite, right? It's the normal story of the Fantastic Four. Is we dive right in to where we skip their origin. We all know their story, right? We got the Gilbert show, who's explaining that they went to space, they came back with powers, and that they defeated the Mole Man, they defeated the Mad Thinker. They're already celebrities, and so we just dive right into them already being a team, already have worked together, have accepted their powers, and are now even more famous because of it. And I love that. We don't waste any time. We get right into it, and the first scene is them finding out that Sue is pregnant. And so let me talk about, I guess, the plot is Galactus is coming, and that's the reason why I really love this. Look, man, it took us 10 years to get Thanos, and I love Infinity Wars and Endgame. Those are two of the best movies ever. The payoff after 10 years of watching, amazing. But Galactus, I have been wanting to see him on the big screen for a long ass time, and we finally got him here, and we'll get there. But first, what I want to say about what I loved about this movie, and why I'm saying I think they watched the 2005 one and said, okay, let's do the opposite, is the characters. I think they did a phenomenal job of showing each character's strengths, how they work together as a team, their role in the team, and how they interact with each other. Let's start with Reed Richards. They nailed Reed Richards. I think everybody was iffy on this casting choice. All of the casting choices, really. And I think Pedro Pascal nailed it. Now, the first movie I ever seen Pedro in, a lot of people think of him from Game of Thrones or The Last of Us or Gladiator. The first movie I ever saw him in was the Nick Cage movie, the Massive Weight of Extraordinary Talent. And so that was my introduction to Pedro. He, as an actor, nailed the character. But as writers, they nailed the character. I think if you're the smartest human being in the world, this is absolutely what it looks like to be that. Reed Richards is a very smart, very frightened, anxious person. And you can see that. He always is trying, he puts so much weight on himself and thinks that the world is always relying on him to solve these problems. And he invites the worst scenarios into his head so he can solve it ahead of time to attack them first. This is a perfect showcase of, like, you know, Mr. Fantastic is not powerful because of his stretchy powers. Those are just a bonus. It's his brain that makes him super powerful. And I do wish that they got a little bit more creative with his stretchy powers, like in the 2005 version, because there is so much you can do with that, more so than just stretching your arms and legs, but hopefully we'll get there. It really went into depth on these characters. I think Reed Richards, for front and foremost, is the one I'm most impressed about, because they absolutely just nailed his character, what makes him the smart, like, if you were the smartest man alive, that's exactly what it would look like. Being scared all the time, trying to constantly solve problems, being OCD, being the way that he was. And I think they captured it brilliantly. And how smart he really is, being able to do teleportation, the spaceship, like, just amazing. Favorite joke of the movie? Oh, I just finished The Crib, but there's 2 extra screws for some reason. Like, the smartest man alive can't successfully put together a crib or put a car seat together. I found that funny. Yeah, building a crib sucks. Sometimes they do come with extra screws, but I'm pretty sure that was a joke that he made it wrong. And then the car seats are definitely a pain in the ass. There's 2 different ways you can put them in. You can put the seatbelt strap through the car seat, or there's 3 straps that you can connect to the metal bars in your car and strap it down that way, which I think actually straps it down better. That's the way that I strap down my car seat. But the first time putting the car seat in, and the first time putting the crib together, it's not super hard, but it is a pain in the ass. Anyways, all the baby jokes got to me because I just, recently had to deal with all that with the cabinets and the car seat and all that. So those jokes hit hard for me. Then we get to Sue Storm, Invisible Woman. I don't think it's a secret that Invisible Woman is the most powerful. Like, so she was a very boring character in the comics. Her just being able to turn invisible was boring, and then so they gave her the power of force fields, and she quite quickly turned into one of the most powerful superheroes of all time. And they really showcased this here, and I love that we get the motherly aspect here, and that they do have the baby. A lot of people were iffy about them having the baby in this one, but I love it. I think she's kind of the glue of the team. She even is a spokesperson for with our world's leaders and whatnot. And yeah, she's very strong. Note her interaction with it. She knows how to keep everybody in line, and I think they did a tremendous job with her character. Johnny Storm, the one that I was least thrilled about, I think they did amazing with. Yeah, he's still a little bit arrogant here, but it's like, and him and Ben still do have that classic, bickering, but it's not like with the 2005 where it's mean-spirited and Johnny is constantly making fun of his appearance or being a dick. They just kind of go back and forth, but they're actually really good friends. But there's a lot of moments where Johnny Storm and his personality shine quite a bit with how he's just ready to jump into action, sacrifice himself, and how smart he is by learning Shalabal's language and whatnot. It does a really good job at showing how each character's strengths, how they contribute to the team, even more so than just with their powers. And yeah, Johnny Storm was actually really good in this. I liked his character quite a bit. But yeah, with Johnny Storm, he he's given a lot to do in here, which we'll get into, that shows that he's not necessarily arrogant, but yes, he's still that flirty, womanizer that he is in the other one, just not as on the nose. The thing is where I think that it got shafted a little bit. I think the actor that played Ben Grimm did great. He obviously, the actor that played Ben Grimm in 2005 nailed the voice, I think, a little bit more. But even still, I love this portrayal here. I wish that we got more of him and how he feels about his situation. But it seems where we're at, he's accepted that he looks like this. And he really is just great moral support for Reed when he's overthinking and the whole team. Like, they really nailed the family dynamic of this team and the celebrity status and everything that wasn't quite nailed in all the other iterations. And I think that's why this is so successful. Like, as far as the characters go, they absolutely nailed the characters. Now let's get into the actual movie. So, Silver Surfer comes down, played by Julia Garner. I think Silver Surfer looks absolutely phenomenal. And lets them know, Galactus is coming. Ain't shit you can do about it. Take this time to rejoice and tell each other the things that you wouldn't normally say. And, so they travel to talk to Galactus to see if there's any bargaining with him. And this entire sequence, I absolutely love. First of all, the setting, the world, this retro, futuristic, Jetsons-like world, very unique. The flying cars look great. The CGI does look wonky at times, but for the most part, looks phenomenal. It's very colorful, very eye-catching. Like, the fire is very bright, very... you can tell it's fake to a degree. Like, I'm the type of person with CGI that I just know what I'm looking at is fake, right? And so therefore, in my mind, no matter how real it looks, it's always fake to me. But they did a pretty damn good job here. They go to space to bargain with the Galactus, and this entire scene is so amazing. Not only because of how action-packed it is, not only because of how beautiful it is, but it's a great showcase for A, how damn smart Reed Richards is, and B, how good they all work together as a team, and how they each have a pivotal role regardless of their superpowers, and how they contribute equally. And so, like, they have this spaceship that connects to this thing that travels at the speed of light, and then they go and they see Galactus. He consumes an entire planet that's 13% larger than Earth, and bargain with him. And we see Galactus for the first time, baby. Yes. God damn, does he look scary. How do you beat him? How do you beat him? We see Galactus. They bargain with him. Sue Storm is basically due any day at this point. And this entire sequence, Galactus says, you have the power to save your planet, give me the boy, and I will spare your planet, because he has the power to basically receive my power, this eternal hunger, and I can finally rest. And to be honest with you, that's a good motivator for a villain. Like, think about it. He's been, for billions of years, his existence is just to go and eat planets, and as the Herald said, his being is as important as the stars. So, like, it's something that has to happen, and I'm wondering, we'll get there, but that has to be shitty, right? For billions of years to just consume planets, always be hungry. So you can understand his motivations for sure. But that's what he says. Fantastic Four is like, fuck you, and Galactus tries making Sue give birth right there. And then we get an intense chase scene of the Silver Surfer trying to catch up with the Fantastic Four. And there's a moment where the Silver Surfer tries to literally rip the baby out of Sue's stomach. That's dark. But so many cool scenes with the Silver Surfer, dude. She gets to surf on lava. She gets to surf on black hole, like rocks and dust. She gets to surf in a wormhole. Like, just a lot of cool moments to see the Silver Surfer, and she looks badass. And that whole sequence, man, going to the black hole, getting her to get stuck in it, all while Sue Storm is giving birth, which wouldn't look that clean in Zero Gravity, by the way. And them going back home is amazing. And then they get back home, the public's like, all right, so did you defeat Galactus? It was a month for them, but only a couple hours for the team. And Reed Richards, with his inability to connect with human beings, is just straight up honest and says he asked for our kid and we'll spare the planet, but we said no. Which obviously, you probably shouldn't have said, but Reed isn't thinking about that. He's thinking of the problem and just telling them the truth, not realizing how that will sound to everybody. And then the way they react is like, you selfish son of a bitch. You should have given him your kid. I don't think there's a single person watching this video that would sacrifice their kid for this world. Okay? But I do think it is very realistic. I do like that they even address that they're not wrong for being angry. That, like, there's a moment where they're sitting at the table where Reed Richards is like, well, they're scared, They think they're going to die. They're blaming us for it. So their conclusion is to be angry at us. It's the only logical thing in their minds to do. So, like, and kind of relates that to how they have no plan, and that they have no, like, logical plan to do. So their plan looks better than theirs because at least their voice, like, love it. So even Reed isn't mad at them for calling them selfish. He understands that this is just kind of how it would go, and that is exactly how the real world would go. So there's two different ways of looking at this movie. It's a fictional movie on a different Earth, or how would people actually react, right? So they're all mad that they will not sacrifice the baby for their world. But Sue gives this beautiful speech about, I'm not, my story. I'm not going to sacrifice the baby to save this world, but I'm not going to sacrifice the world for our baby either. We're going to fight alongside you. And everyone knows this wouldn't have changed the entire world's mind. I'm okay with it because if we're going to talk about realism here, let's talk about what would realistically happen, okay? Sue would come out with the baby and somebody would kidnap it and then try to keep it until Galactus comes. Whenever they try to build, their plan is to move the planet after that speech and build all these teleportation devices around the world and synchronize, and the whole world has to come together. That would never happen. The whole world working together, if you want to be realistic, that would never happen ever. Half the world would be, I don't even think this Galactus person's coming. Oh, he's in the sky. Pfft, don't believe that propaganda. Half the people would be like, yeah, this is real. You need to get ready for this. And then there would be a small group somewhere that would probably be like Galactus fans, thinking that he's God coming, like, as well as I do, that the whole world working together, let alone our country, would not happen. Not meaning to get political on you, but so I'm not choosing to look at the movie as realistic here. Like, this isn't our world. This is just a fictional piece of work. So I'm able to buy that this planet works together to try to teleport the Earth. That's not enough for me to ruin it. Yes, if you try to look at it through a realistic lens, you can tear that apart pretty quick, but it doesn't ruin it for me, and I do think it's brilliant. A lot of people laugh at the idea of him wanting to teleport the world, but in a pivotal moment where you have no other options and that's just what you gotta do, I think it was genius. Like, a lot of people are using the SpongeBob meme of, why don't we just take Bikini Bottom and push it over here? Like, yes, it's simplistic on its surface, but the fact he was able to come up with the technology, like, everything that went into it, was genius, I think. I don't think it would have worked, considering how much power he was talking about needed to teleport the egg. I don't think there was enough power in the world that I think it would have been unsuccessful, but we'll never know. his plans are thwarted because right as they're about to teleport the world, the Silver Surfer escapes from the black hole, comes and destroys all of it, and now you're thinking, oh shit, Galactus, like, okay, they're gonna have to fight Galactus. But then we get an awesome scene of Johnny. He has translated Shalabal's language and basically transmits all these recordings to these screens in New York and gets Shalabal to listen to him, and they talk in her language and basically guilt trips her about all the other worlds that she's helped destroy. And like everybody hating on the fact that, you know, they went with the woman Silver Surfer, I think this completely works. Like, this didn't work as well as if it's a guy, and this is a lot better than, wow, you look a lot like my wife, I'm gonna protect your planet. So I thought this was not only amazing for Johnny's character to show just how smart he actually is, but it also made it make a lot of sense as to why they went with Shalabal instead of Norman Rad. And so I said, and I don't know what video, that I was looking forward to this, but I hope this movie isn't just Galactus wins, Silver Surfer, like, Fantastic Four is thrown into the MCU. I hope they're able to do something to, you know, switch up what we're expecting. Because I think all of us expected this, okay, this world's fucked. They're going to end up going to a different dimension. There's a part where they talk about that it's been proven that there's other dimensions with parallel Earths and parallel planets. So I think we all were thinking Galactus is going to eat this planet. They're going to have to leave it. And if that's what the ending would have been, I would have been a little disappointed no matter how well they executed it, because that would have been predictable. And I'm glad that we decided to go a different way. So the plan now turns into, we have to bring Galactus here. We got to use the baby as bait. It's shitty, but it's really the only thing that we can do. And so there's one more teleportation thing left. They're going to try to bring Galactus to it. They can keep it open and cause a black hole for 37 seconds, which should put him millions of miles away from Earth and should take him, he should never be able to find the planet again. And so that's the plan. They're going to leave little baby Franklin and this little badass device and bring Galactus to him, switch out the things. And anyway, Galactus gets there. Boy, is it dreadful. Like, it just, the entire, it's just nothing but dread, you know, because you can't fight Galactus. Now, the problem with Galactus is he is so powerful that I can understand people getting mad that he was beat, because realistically, he can just change his size to be bigger than the Earth. There's really no way Galactus loses unless the writers want him to. So, yes, I get that. But with that being said, I think everything kind of makes sense. Galactus had to be the size that he could be to get the baby. And so that just happened to be small enough that... Also, the underground, they work with Mole Man to, you know, stuff all the people because Galactus is going to destroy a lot of buildings underground. There ain't no fucking way that the road is holding up, man. There's no way. Galactus would go straight through and kill those people. But okay. Yeah, so that's their plan. It doesn't work. Galactus gets one step away, then scans, realizes baby Franklin is in the Fantastic Four tower and goes over to it. So now everybody has to try to stop him. Everybody basically gets their ass kicked except Sue. And he successfully gets the baby. CGI baby, by the way. Does look wonky at some points, looks great at some points, but wonky in others. They did the best they could. It's not like you can have a real baby in these scenes. But so now he has the baby, and Sue tries grabbing Galactus, says, "Put down my son." And he shrugs her off, and then she grabs all of them, puts a force field around all of them, and contains him. And starts pushing him towards where the black hole is going to form. And so she's using like all of her power, pushing herself to death by doing this. And she tells the rest of the team to save Franklin. So while she's pushing Galactus to the black hole, Johnny Storm, Reed Richards, Ben Grimm, they're going after the baby. And Reed Richards is so brilliant in this fight scene. Like, we get a decent showcase of his stretchy powers, but just to realize, okay, to get on his back, to open up those tubes, to open the lava. So I guess, like, yeah, that's something I forgot to mention, damn it. Like, we got to see his ship and how he feeds and how he destroys the world. And he destroys the world, takes the rock, turns it into molten lava, and it feeds him through the tube. So I guess lava is his food. Which is why setting him on fire didn't make any damn sense. Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm. I always call him Johnny Flame on accident. Basically, they get their ass kicked. Galactus gets a hold of Reed Richards and starts stretching him. And I don't know if Galactus even knew if he had stretchy powers. I don't think he did. So Galactus was just straight gonna rip him in half. And then, you know, Ben finally gets it's clobbering time moment. But that they really don't do a whole lot. And they just hit Galactus in the face real quick, but it knocks both of them out, and Galactus drops Mr. Fantastic, but is barely phased, and so now Sue's like the only one left standing, and yeah, starts using the force field thing. And Sue just has to, on her own, push him to the black hole. Johnny gets to the thing to open it, and Reed Richards at the last second. Well, Galactus is starting to gain his footing back and starting to beat Sue, and Ben Grimm goes and makes the building collapse because that's what Galactus is using to stay upright, and then that pushes him back, and then with one final push, she pushes him into the portal, and then she basically dies, and then Galactus comes back through the portal, and then the Silver Surfer comes and knocks Galactus back through it, and they win. There you go, bam, shebang. There's a couple details I'm leaving out. With movie reviews, I really just like to go over the positives and negatives, but I wanted to specifically talk about the ending, because that seems to be the most controversial part. Now, the ending a lot of people have a problem with because they feel like it's anticlimactic, and I can kind of understand. Yeah, Galactus gets there, Sue basically just gets him, throws him in the damn force field or black hole. But I love what it stands for, right? First of all, Sue Storm is powerful enough to do that, but it killed her. Everybody that's complaining that Sue Storm is overpowered, she died. She died. Not like, oh, we think she's dead. She actually died. And it didn't even work. It took fucking Shia LaBeouf coming in to save the day. Or Johnny Flame could have done it. Like, and it took Ben's help. Like, it's not like Sue Storm did it alone. People are acting like this was just a woke, oh my god, powerful woman on screen. The Critical Drinker, he came out with a review, called it the return of the MCU. And I know exactly what he was mad about. Powerful woman. Sue Storm would never be able to beat Galactus. No, too unbelievable. And then the Silver Surfer comes in and we got two powerful women? Two? Puh. Look, there's pondering and there's inclusivity, and I think this was great because you're telling a story of the motherly love for her child, and you can roll your eyes at that all you want, but that's a very real thing. The things that you will go through for your kid, she quite literally killed herself to save her kid. It's one of those, when your child's in danger, you can lift a car. Like, I love that that's Sue's lift a car moment. And I believe it. It's believable. If Galactus is that size, yeah. Could Galactus have beat her if he chose to be a bigger size? Yes. But there's only so much you can do with such a juggernaut of a character. So I think they made it believable. Little baby Franklin, as a baby, resurrects his mother. And we see cosmic stars in her eyes whenever she comes back. And then the end credits is Doctor Doom. Which I'm a little bit confused about. So it showed Latveria whenever they were at, world meetings and whatnot, and Latveria was always empty. They had to have known of Doctor Doom, right? Because that is the big bad for Fantastic Four. I do find it a little weird we're getting Galactus, then Doom. I'm wondering if they knew of Doom, Victor Von Doom, as a person. And I'm very confused about the Thunderbolts. Oh, okay, so spoilers for Thunderbolts. End credit scene, skip 20 seconds ahead. The end credit scene to Thunderbolts is the Fantastic Four ship flying in our atmosphere. But the Fantastic Four ship has 4 pillars instead of 3, like in this movie. And after the ending of this movie doesn't really make any sense. So I'm wondering if it's a different Fantastic Four, because to be honest, I can't imagine this Fantastic Four, this team, being plucked from their world and put in ours. Not only do I feel like our world doesn't need them, because of how powerful they are, but they really do belong to this world, and I feel like it would be really sad for their characters to be in a different world. I feel like that would really weigh on them really heavy, because they're beloved by the Earth that they're on. It would be kind of sad to see them go to a different Earth, which makes me wonder, is it just a parallel version of the Fantastic Four? I looked it up, and apparently there was, schedule with shooting conflicts, so they didn't know when they were shooting what, so this could be a credit scene that was just nothing. But the movie was awesome, dude. The movie was awesome. The visuals were great. The character development on all the characters was phenomenal. I got to see Galactus. I don't care if he got beat easy. It was just badass to see Galactus on screen. The Silver Surfer looked amazing. Everything was great. Every character had something to do. The Thing, I do wish we got a little bit more of. You can tell there was a lot chopped, and this has a runtime of 2 hours, which I do feel like we could have gotten that 2.5 hour normal Marvel runtime and been okay here. Ben's, has interests in, what's her name? Natasha Lyonne's actress. I don't remember her name. In the movie, but the actress that plays her, you guys know her from Orange is the New Black. I know her from American Pie. But he shows a little interest there. I do wish we got a little bit more of the Thing. A little bit more of Mole Man. But Herbie, the characters, everything, the baby prep, just as a parent, look, roll your eyes, I get it. As a parent, the shit made me giggle with the baby gates, them falling over it, with the cabinets, because you got to do all that shit. You got to, and it's not quite as easy with the cabinets. You got to screw a little thing and then screw another thing onto the door, and then so they don't open. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Anyway, I love this movie. I've watched it 3 or 4 times. The more I watch it, the more I like it. And the big question is, now that we're fucking 40 minutes into this bitch, was this better than Superman? Because what I love is that this year we got a banger from DC and we got a banger from Marvel. And I don't know. Superman made me fall in love with a character that I don't normally love. This made me. I love the Fantastic Four. Huge fans of them. It brought them to life in a way that has never been brought to life before. Like it. I truly do not know which one is better. I think they are both great movies. If we're talking about storytelling, I think they each have their nitpicks, man. I really don't know. I really don't know. That's hard. I think I'm going to give the edge to Superman because it literally made me like a character that I did not have any interest in. And made me realize, oh, this is what that character stands for. But at the same time, there's some scenes in this that are just... That whole space scene is just absolutely phenomenal. So as far as action scenes go, well, that was probably the biggest one. The Galactus fight really didn't last that long, which is most people's complaint. But if you're the critical drinker, you're just mad because powerful women were on TV. Oh my God, that must be the wokeness. Just say what you mean, brother. Stop being a pussy and saying anti-woke. Why don't you just say what you mean? Anti-woke isn't a thing. Just say, I don't like seeing powerful women on TV. Okay? Because it's not about pondering or inclusivity. I've talked about that ad nauseum. If your goal was to eradicate pondering and fight for inclusivity, that would be one thing. The scene of Marvel, right? Where all the women come together in Endgame and just happen to be in the same spot. That's pondering. That's cringy. That's like, look, I would love to get a scene of all the fucking women superheroes kicking ass, but it didn't feel natural. It was very coincidental. It felt weird. We get it, woman power, but this scene was kind of cringe because what are the odds that they would all be there? Like, that's called pondering. This actually made perfect sense. Sue Storm is very powerful, yes, and it took her dying to get Galactus to that hole, and it still didn't even work. The Silver Surfer being a woman absolutely played into the plot quite a bit, and in a way that I don't think a male would have. So no, I don't think this is a case of Disney trying to force women empowerment on you. I don't think I should be turning to my daughter during this movie and go, wow, that is pondering, and they're just trying to force women empowerment on us. Remember, honey, that's pondering. Go watch the 2005 version where Sue was just confined to being a sex object that we constantly tried to see naked. That was better. Right? Critical drinker, you are the reason why when I see a fictional world working together, I go, yeah, there's no way in hell that would ever happen. So be proud of that. I'm happy with the ending because I'm happy that it wasn't just Galactus winning, them coming to our world, and it being that predictable. Like, even if it was executed to the highest degree, to the best possible way, I still would have been like, yeah, that was a good movie, but like, it sucks that we kind of all knew that that's where it was going to go. We didn't here. We actually had a moment of, oh, they might actually be able to win this. Whoa, because... So yeah, I absolutely love this movie. This is a go out and buy it. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. Love it. Phenomenal. Great job with the characters. Great job. Not trying to shit on 2005. I'm just using that as a comparison because, like I said, it's like they looked at everything 2005 did and did the opposite thing. But anyways, yeah, I can't recommend this movie enough. I had a lot of fun with it, and it continues to get better and better. It's very rewatchable. And yeah, I think it's just so badass that this summer we got a banger from Marvel, we got a banger from DC, and superhero. We got non-conventional stories going on as well, like Peacemaker, dark and gritty, rated R, having scenes of orgies and whatnot, and then you got Gen V and The Boys. Like, I love it. I love it. It's been a good year for superhero stuff, and I'm excited for what Marvel has cooking again. That's nice to see the end credits. Fantastic Four will be in Avengers Doomsday. To get excited at that again, it's been a minute. And, yeah. So, thank you for watching. If you watched all of this, I know this was a long one, but I had a lot to say about this movie. I absolutely love it, and yeah, this is definitely the best iteration of it so far. And thank you for watching. Love you guys. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully.